Welcome back to Everyday Kentucky. What did I just say?
You said it right. Welcome back to Everyday Kentucky.
I feel as though I jumbled up my words.
Oh no,
I'm working on it. Thank you. I had way too much coffee. So welcome back to Everyday Kentucky. Tonight at Joseph Beth Booksellers, you can attend the book launch of Julia Seal's newest novel, A Most Agreeable Murder.
And we're joined by the writer herself, Julia Seals, to tell us more. An interesting title for a book. Where did this inspiration come from?
Yes, well, the book is very inspired by Agatha Christie and Jane Austen, so I would say it's sort of a mashup of those two genres, or also kind of like Knives Out and Bridgerton. So it's a kind of a play on how in a lot of Jane Austen's works she says that men are often very agreeable, and so because it's a mashup of Jane Austen's works, the agreeable nature of the men in that, and murder, I put the two together.
Perfect. So tell us a little bit about the book without telling us so we can come get it.
Yes, no spoilers. Okay. It is a mystery. The book is about a young woman in the Regency era in a very small town in England, which is very much based on my upbringing here in Kentucky and kind of being in a small town. Everybody knows everything. And they're very strict about etiquette in this small town. So she secretly is obsessed with true crime, as a lot of us are, but she can't tell anyone because that is against the etiquette of her small town. However, when she goes to a ball and the guest of honor drops dead, she gets the chance to solve a mystery in real life. So she really has to choose between her reputation and pursuing justice.
So how did your upbringing, the etiquette of here in Kentucky, make the transition to the book and that scene?
I think, funnily enough, there are a lot of similarities between Regency era England and a small town in Kentucky. It's a tight-knit community, and people care a lot about, having a good reputation and having their good name. And I think that when I first read Jane Austen's works, it reminded me so much of just growing up here and kind of that closeness you feel with your family and friends, but also the other side of that of what secrets is everyone hiding and the gossip of a small town.
Oh, yes.
So I would say it just very much reminded me of the two places.
So Julia, what got you started to write?
So my mom is a reading specialist, and growing up I just loved reading so much. She always bought me books, and I loved stories, and I wanted so much to write my own stories. So I dreamed of being a writer since I was young, and this is really a dream come true for me.
So I feel like, when you grow up, you write books.
Yes.
When you're younger. What was your first book? Because we know this technically was not your first book. What was your first book?
That's a really good question. It's hard to remember because I was writing so much, but I did have a play that I wrote when I was very young, and it was called The Tragic Tale of Mistress Lamar.
Oh,
wow. A very silly, gothic, dramatic play, and I actually put a little link in the book to that title. I put it as a title of a book that they're reading, as a little joke to myself.
How cool. Now, you did a lot of research on the makeup and fashion of this era. Tell us about some of that.
I'm very interested in just the fashion and makeup of the Regency because it was so connected to the politics of the time. There was very much a sense of women wasting away because so many men had gone to war and died in the war that there were actually more women than men, which is sort of how the whole marriage market started. But it also influenced fashion, where women would wear very thin muslin gowns and makeup that made them look very natural. That was really in. But also a lot of the makeup that they used was literal poison.
Wow.
So I played around with that a bit for the murder mystery aspect of the book.
Very smart.
So tell me a little bit about what we can expect today.
So I'll be signing books at 7 p.m. at Joseph Beth, and also I'll be talking a little bit about the book, answering more questions, and it should just be a great time to chat with everyone, and I'm just really honored to be doing it there because as a kid that's where I would go see authors, and so it's very exciting to now be the author there.
So can just anybody show up, or do they need to RSVP to go to this event?
It's an open invitation. Everyone's welcome to come. No need to RSVP.
Julia, what's next for you?
I'm working on another book. I'm very excited. It will be a different book entirely. Very much inspired by Kentucky.
Oh.
So I'm currently working on that.
If you had a tea party, who would you invite, and who Who would it be? Why those invitations going to those certain people?
That's a great question. Is this, can I invite real, fictional,
Anybody.
Anyone.
Anybody.
I mean, I think having a tea party with Jane Austen herself would be the ultimate goal. I think it would be very exciting to really hear her take on things. She was such a witty and a witty woman with a very sharp eye for social criticism, and that's something I've always been very inspired by in her works.
So Julia, if we can't make it to the event today, how can we still find you?
So I am on social media at Julia May Seals on all platforms, and the book is available wherever books are sold. I always tell people, buy local, go to your local bookstore.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. We'll have to catch you tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.